Good morning. I hope you're doing well. This is Josh, and I'm reading from the Peshitta, the Aramaic. It is a translation/transliteration of the Aramaic, and I'm looking at chapter 19 of John. Then Pilate had Yeshua scourged, and the soldiers twisted a crown from kube, thorns, the bramble bush, and they set it on his head, and they covered him with nachte, arguana, outer garments of purple. And they were saying, Shlam, peace unto you, Malkad Yahudei, King of the Judeans, Jews. And they were striking him on his cheeks. And Pilate went outside again, and said unto them, Behold, I bring him outside unto you, so that you may know that I don't find even one pretext, punishable crime against him. And Yeshua went outside, while there was a klilad kube, a crown of thorns, and nuchthed arguana, outer garments of purple upon him. And Pilate said unto them, Behold, the Gabra, the man. Now when the Rabbi Hanne, the priest chiefs, and the Dachshe, the guards, saw him, they cried out and said, Titzlubehi, crucify him, crucify him. Pilate said unto them, You told him the Zak Fuhe, raise him up, crucify him. You take him, and Zak Fuhi, raise him up, crucify him, for I'm not able to find a pretext, punishable crime in him. The Yehudei, the Judeans, Jews, said unto him, There is a namusa, a law for us, and according to that which is in our namusa, law, he is guilty of death, because he made his soul the son of Allah, God. Now when Pilate heard this statement, he was exceedingly fearful. Wow, that's interesting, isn't it? He knew that they wanted to put Jesus to death because he was claiming to be the Son of God. That would strike fear in any man's heart. And he again entered into the praetorium, the judgment hall, and said unto Yeshua, Where are you from? But Yeshua didn't give a reply unto him. Pilatus said unto him, You don't speak with me? Don't you realize that I have the authority to release you, and I have the authority to have you crucified? Yeshua said unto him, There is no authority for you over me, not even one, a small part, or a small amount, if it hadn't been given unto you from above. Because of this, that one who delivered me unto you, his sin is a rabbah greater than your own. And because of this, Pilate was desiring that he might release him, but the Yehudei were crying out that if you release this one, you are not a friend of Caesar, the emperor. For all who makes his soul a malka, a king, he is in opposition of Caesar, the emperor. Wow, so much hatred. They first appeal to their own religious law, and when they see that might not work, They then appeal to Caesar, their own oppressors. Unbelievable. Now when Pilatos heard this statement, he brought Yeshua outside and said unto the beam, the judgment, and sat upon the beam, the judgment platform, in a place which is called in Hebraic, the Hebrew language, i.e. Aramaic, the Ratzfthad Kefe, the pavement of rocks, but is called Gabatha. And it was the Arubthad Pishka, the preparation of the Passover, and it was about the 6th hour. And he said unto the Yehudi, the Judeans, Jews, Behold, Malchon, your king. Note, this was now the 6th hour from the start of the preparation of the Passover, which began at 3 a.m., and now it was 9 a.m. when they condemned him to be crucified, as stated in Mark's Gospel at 15:25. But they were crying out, Shakulehi, Shakulehi, take him away, take him away. Titzlubehi, Titzlubehi, crucify him, crucify him. Pilatus, Pilate, said unto them, Should I, Zakuf, literally lift up, crucify, Malchun, your king, the Rabbe Kunne? The priest chiefs said unto him, There is no Malka, king for us, except only Caesar, Caesar the emperor. Then he delivered him unto them, so that they might crucify him. And they took Yeshua, and they drove him out, while carrying his cross unto a place which was called Karkaphtha, the skull, in Hebraic, the Hebrew's language, Aramaic, but is called Golgotha, the place that he was crucified, and with him 2 others, one on this side and one on that side, and Yeshua in the middle. And Pilatus Pilate also wrote on a lucha, a tablet, and placed it upon his cross. Thereupon it was written thus, This is Yeshu Natsraya, Malchad Yahudeye. This is Yeshua, the Nazarene, the King of Judeans. And many from the Yehudi, the Judeans, Jews, read this tablet, because the place that Yeshua was crucified at was near unto the city, and it was written in Hebraic, the language of the Hebrews, Aramaic, and in Aramaic, the language of the Greeks, and in Aramaic, the language of the Romans. And the Rabbe Kanne, the priest chief, said unto Pilatus, Pilate, Don't write that he is the Malchad Yahudeye, the king of the Jews, but rather that he said that I am the Malchad Yahudeye, the king of the Judeans, Jews. Pilatus said, The thing that I have written, I have written. Now when the soldiers crucified Yeshua, they took his garments. Alright, let's back up here a little bit. And the Rabbe Kunne, the chief priest, said unto Pilatus, Pilate, Don't write that he is the Malchad Yahude, the king of the Jews, but rather that he said that I am the Malchad Yahude, the king of the Jews. Pilate said, The thing that I have written, Now when the soldiers crucified Yeshu, they took his garments and made 4 portions for each from the soldiers, but his tunic there was no stitch, woven completely from the top. Now when the soldiers crucified Jesus, Yeshua, they took his garments and made 4 portions for each from the soldiers, but his tunic there was no stitch, woven completely from the top. And they said one to another, "Let's not tear it, but rather let's cast lots over it, to know whose lot it will be." And the Kathaba, the scripture, was fulfilled, which said that they divided my garments among themselves, and over my clothing they cast a lot. The soldiers did these things. Now standing at his cross were the Imad Ishu, the mother of Yeshua, and the Chatha, the sister of his mother, and Miriam, Mary, that one of Cleophas, and Miriam Magdaleta, Mary of Magdala. Then Ishu Yeshua saw his mother, and the Talmida, the disciple, that one whom he loved, who was standing there. And he said unto his mother, "Anta, woman, look, your son." And he said unto the Talmida, the disciple, "Behold your mother." And from that moment the Talmida, disciple, took her with him. After these things Ishu Yeshua knew that everything was complete, and so that the Kathaba, the scriptures, might be fulfilled, he said, "I'm thirsty." And they placed a vessel there that was full of challah, vinegar, and filled an espuga, a sponge, from the challah, the vinegar, and placed it on hyssop, and brought it near toward his mouth. After he had taken that challah, vinegar, Ishu Yeshua said, "Behold, it is finished." And he bowed his head and delivered up Ruche, his spirit. Now the Yehudi, the Judeans, Jews, because it was the Arabtha, the day of preparation, were saying, "These bodies shouldn't remain overnight on their crosses," because the Shabta, the Sabbath, was dawning. For it was the Rabba Yomad Shabta, the great day of the Sabbath. And they asked from Pilatus, Pilate, that they might break the legs, literally the shin bones, of those who were crucified, and they might take them down. And the soldiers came, and they broke the legs, literally the shin bones, of the first, and of that other who was crucified with him. And when they came towards Ishu Yeshua, they saw that he was dead already, and they didn't break his legs, literally his shin bones. But one from the soldiers struck him in the side with a laketa, a spear lance, and immediately blood and water came out. And the one who had seen it has testified, and his witness is true, and he knows the Shrara, the law. He spoke so that you also may believe. For these things have happened so that the Chathaba, the scripture, might be fulfilled, which said that not a bone will be broken in him. And again another Kathaba scripture, which said that they will look at him whom they have pierced. After these things Joseph, that one who was from Ramtha, Arimathea, sought from Pilate, that he might take the body of Ishu Yeshua, because he was a Talmid Ishu, a disciple of Yeshua, and had concealed himself from fear of the Yehudi, the Jews, And Pilatus Pilate permitted it, and he came and took the body of Yeshua. And Nicodemus also came, that one who had come previously, literally from before, to Yeshua at night, and he brought with him spices of myrrh, and of aloe, about 100 liters. And they took away the body of Yeshua, and they wrapped it in kethane, linen sheets, and with the besme, the ointments, as it's customary of the Yehudei, the Jews, when they bury. Now there was in that place that Yeshua was crucified, and a ganta, a garden, and in the ganta garden a new gabura, tomb, which a man, hadn't yet been placed in. And they placed Yeshua there, because the Shabbat, the Sabbath, was entering, and because the Gabra, the tomb, was near.